As I quit spinning. Okay, we are live, real deal live with our special guest, Sir Nigel.
Sir
Nigel.
Nigel. That's something I haven't been
Yeah,
called for a while.
I love calling you that. That's
Right,
my
bear with me. I'm just going to find you so I can see the comments. Bear with me. I'm going to go and look now. Yeah.
yes. Please do because I like I told you the other day. I'm not being able to. I can see some of them. It looks like right now,
There we go.
but
I can
one,
see them. Right. Okay. I've got them. I've got them.
we
We'll
got
take care of it.
Paul and Terry and Johnny's Corner, Gerd.
Good evening, everybody. Or afternoon, I suppose you could say.
Afternoon and evening, both actually. I guess. Well, I don't know. Yeah,
It's
it's
evening
what?
somewhere, isn't it?
Yeah, it's 5:30 there, isn't it?
Yeah, 5:30. Yeah.
Gerd
So
is probably what is Gerd is probably another 2 or 3 hours added to that.
probably, yeah. I don't know. I know what time it is here. That's good enough for me. I know it's
That
nearly time. It's nearly time for fishing.
it, it is over here as well. uh, I am glad you came on, brother. I wanted you on for quite a while, and I'm glad we finally made it happen.
I've only
Uh,
been home 5 minutes. So my life doesn't stop. I don't get time. So yeah, yeah, it's definitely unusual for me.
yeah, I know it is, and I truly appreciate it. Hello, Barry.
Hi Barry. Hi Gerd. Terry. Paul. Who else have we got? Johnny's Corner. Finders Keepers. Corey. Good evening to everyone. Or afternoon. It's nearly. By the time we finish, it'll be evening.
Yeah, I'm sure it will be. Bud Files. Hello, brother. Got a few people just popping in. Uh, Again, I'm so glad that you came on. I had a little incident yesterday. Uh,
Right?
my Titan, I knocked a big chunk of my Titan, Kratos Titan, out.
360 is brilliant, but they're definitely not indestructible. A clamp magnet is far better protected, but the difference between a clamp and a 360 is a massive difference. So, I think that I'll take a few chips and knocks, but if they break, they break, unfortunately.
Yeah, that is true. This is about a 2.5 inch wide chunk.
Well, it's in the video.
Well, it's in the video we just had that come out today at 11 o'clock. It's big enough to be concerned about, I think.
Fill the hole with resin. Get some resin, fill the hole in.
Resin, okay.
Hmm.
I'll
Because
give that a
then,
shot.
it just fills the gap. Because otherwise, you'll have lots of bits of rubbish going in there and you'll never get them off. But
I'll
you
give that a
can
shot.
fill the case with resin, and then it makes it flat again. I mean,
I
it'll
will
still
definitely.
work with a massive chunk out of it. It'll still work fine. But it's better just to protect it because otherwise that bit that's missing when you hit, it's going to bend the casing and the case will start getting battered then.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I will definitely do that. Just regular resin, nothing
Yeah,
special.
nope. Clean it out, get as much muck out as you can, just put some resin in there and it will just keep the shape then, it will keep it round, otherwise you're going to end up with a flat spot. And then if you start splitting the case, then the case is just going to fall apart.
I will definitely give that a try. Definitely.
Yeah, it
But we had a.
works.
I'm sorry.
It does work. Honestly, it works.
Well, I believe you more than anybody because you magnifish more than anybody that I know. Uh,
I do
hours
do a little
wise,
bit, don't I?
hours wise. We go 2 or 3 times a week, but we don't. We put in
3 hours at a
maybe
time.
maybe
Three, four.
3 4 hours at a time. Uh, but
Mm.
you're going once twice a week, and you're putting in a lot of hours.
I'll leave
And
any time between 5:30 and 6 on a Sunday morning and get time any time up to 8 o'clock in the evening.
Oh my.
that's a long day.
Yeah,
But
I've got about 4 hours driving tomorrow, 2 hours
Oh,
there, 2 hours back. So, but you got to keep moving.
yeah, you have to. And I was going to ask you. I was going to ask you. Shannon, you're crazy. I'm not gonna even. I'm
That's
not
why
even
you.
gonna.
That's why you love her, because she's crazy.
Yeah, she's crazy. Uh, I was gonna ask you. Uh, Now, do you fish anywhere else besides England?
Haven't yet. One
Haven't yet.
day. One day.
Uh,
You know.
I was curious because you are, I'm brother. You are. I tease people about this all the time. You are the best known magnet fisher other than Bondi that I know of. I mean,
For
you are worldwide, brother. You
something
got
that
a lot.
started off for a laugh, YouTube was only for a bit of fun. It was never meant to go anywhere. It was just to prove a point. My daughter said when I suggested it, she goes, "You're too old. You're never going to get subscribers." She goes, "You won't get 100." So I like a challenge, unfortunately, and I took the challenge on, and it just ballooned. It just went mental.
Brother. It has gone absolutely mental. Uh, and I can understand that. We kind of the same thing with us. We thought maybe we'd get 5 family members subscribed to us, and that would be it.
Yeah,
But we're slowly growing. We're growing. We're closing in on the 3,000 mark right now. Which
it's weird because you had a hard time for the first 1,000, didn't you? I remember you was having a
it
hard time,
took us. It took us over 2 years to get over 1,000.
and just
And man, that's
getting to
right.
that number because went above it, then below it, then above it. You was getting frustrated. I could tell you were getting frustrated by that.
Yeah, I really was. But I took some advice from my buddy Barry, and from your comments. But Barry said, George, go magnet fishing. Leave your camera at home and go magnet fishing.
Yep.
And that's what we did a few times, and it kind of rejuvenated us and got to the point where if we get subscribers, that's great. If we don't, that's okay too. The
And
ones
you
we
hit the
got,
number, and now look at you, because it wasn't
yeah,
that long ago. It really wasn't
no,
that long ago, was it?
no, it really wasn't. I mean, we've only been doing this for I know it's less than 4 years. It says 4 years on YouTube, but I think it's a little less than that.
Yeah.
So I'm happy. I'm very satisfied with the way things are growing. If it grows too fast, you don't appreciate it.
No. And the weird thing about this hobby is that you can get the amazing finds, but it doesn't mean you're going to get the best views. And then you can get other people that have terrible finds, but people warm to them.
Yeah,
That's the thing. It's a difficult game, and I think the only thing is I've always said to people, don't copy anyone, be yourself. If you can't
that's
bring
it.
your own thing to the channel, it's not going to work.
That's right. That's right. And I that's all we know how to be is be ourselves. I mean, I know what I like to watch and uh, what I don't like to watch, and we just go out and we have a laugh. I mean, it's always just Shannon and myself, but
Yeah.
there's no one really around us that does this, and that's okay too.
Well,
Actually,
it
I'm
is.
kind of,
It means, it gives you a good area with no one else doing it.
yeah. I mean, we got a 12-mile area that we've got that we do, and that's about all that we do. I mean, there's a couple other places we go, but we'll fish this until everything runs out, and then we'll go somewhere else. But this right here is about a half a mile from our house, and within a 12
Can't,
mile within a 12-mile radius, and we've got plenty of water.
you've got plenty of time to do it as well.
That's right.
Hi,
Hello, Annie
Annie.
B.
Hi, Lindsay.
I didn't see Linda. Hi, Lindsay. Uh, well, I'm going to go ahead and make this announcement. I've been sitting on it for a little while now, but I'm going to go ahead and tell everyone. Uh, Nigel is going to be our very last guest that we have on our live for the time being. I say we'll probably come back to this, but we're going to go start doing pop-up lives uh, throughout the week whenever we get a chance, when we are able to go out magnet fishing. the main reason is because my eyes have really gone bad, and I've got to have surgery on both eyes. So, there's going to be at least 4 or 6 weeks of downtime of me not being able to read anything, and
Right.
so instead of just, I love doing this type of live, the interview type, uh, especially since we only do UK interviews. UK, I say only UK and one in Canada.
Yeah.
But I wanted to end this with Nigel because honestly, who better to end it with?
Save the best till
Uh,
last, George. Told you
that's
that.
ex- yeah, that's exactly right.
You just
No
getting warmed
offense,
up for this one.
no offense to anyone else that has been on here, but I wanted to have the biggest the biggest magnifier in the world on, and you're honestly you're one of the biggest. So what better way to end it?
I'm
Uh,
no different to anyone else, and that I never will be. At the end of the day, we go out to have a laugh, we have fun. When I say be yourself on camera, unfortunately, I'm not allowed to because I'll get demonetized, so I have to tone it down a bit. And believe me, people that know me know that off camera, I'm worse. I'm not good on camera. I like to have fun, I like to have a laugh, and I think that's probably what people have warmed to over the years. That it's all about having fun, and it's not about being serious. We had a bad day, we have a bad day. It happens, but we always have fun, and that's all that matters. But a lady did come out with us years ago, and she said she wanted to come see what it was all about and that. And she says, "I thought you like always used to act on camera. What you used to do and that." She goes, "But you don't. You're worse off camera." I went, "I know we have to be. There's certain things you just cannot do, and we just have fun, and that's what it's all about."
yeah, and that's if it's not fun, why do it?
Yeah.
You know, I can't. You made a comment to me before, and I totally agree. There's some people that's just like watching paint dry,
Mm,
and then there's some people that are way over the top that
yeah,
for
you can't watch them either because it's just too over the top all the time.
yeah, and it just it makes my head explode watching that, and that's we've got basically a handful of channels that we watch, and
Mm. You can
that's
only do what you can do, and if you can't warm to somebody's videos or them themselves, then you're not going to sit and watch them. That's normal. There is a few channels that I've watched in the past, and I really like, but then unfortunately, I don't know. People, I think they try a little bit too hard, and I think that is what the downfall for it. When the desperation starts setting in. They try too hard, and because of that, I think you might find people that don't know you, but people that know you from the start. We haven't changed. I haven't changed. I'm still being horrible to people and having fun, but it's something that you can't change it completely. And some people they have changed. They really have. And it's not for me, to be honest with you. No, we're
yeah,
just going to carry on doing exactly what we're doing now. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, you don't have to watch. It's quite simple. I don't beg people to stay. If people want to leave, then leave.
yeah. That's it. That's the bottom line. I mean, YouTube is not a living for us. Uh, if we do it for fun. Uh, if we was not doing YouTube, we would still be out magnet fishing.
Yeah.
Uh, and we do it for fun. But honestly, it gave us something to do. I'm older now, and I'm disabled. But if it wasn't for magnet fishing, I'd be laid up on the couch somewhere watching TV, and that's no way to live.
No.
You know.
Yeah,
Uh,
at the end of the day, you've got to keep your exercise up, otherwise your body's going to completely relax and you ain't going to do nothing. Being disabled, a lot of people, if they give up, their body gives up too, and that's no good.
that's it. That's it. And that's the point. That's exactly where we were at. Both of us. I mean, Shannon is disabled too. A lot of what you can see my disabilities by the way I walk and having to use a walker. But people don't get to see Shannon's disability. Shannon is Shannon is struggling a lot that people don't see. Uh, she is a chronic pain patient. Very very bad back. Her neck has gotten to the point where she needs to have surgery, but she won't have surgery. Uh, but I tell you what, I've never seen a harder working woman in my life.
Puts you to shame,
And
doesn't she?
she goes and goes. She's like the little Energizer bunny, man. She just keeps going and going and going. Uh, and
But that's the right attitude. You can't give in. Once you give in to any sort of illness or pain and that, it wins. It's as simple as that.
yeah, exactly. And uh, I know that I know you struggle with your back too. You can't tell me that you don't because I've seen it. Uh,
No, I'm all right for the first 6 hours. It's afterwards. But
yeah,
then I just have to ignore it and go through. I did have a bad shoulder a couple of weeks ago. I should have really not gone, but I don't give in. I thought, well, if it hurts, then I'm taking painkillers. And I had that for nearly 2 weeks, but I didn't give in. I just stayed off the big magnet. But no, I'm stubborn like that as well. I'm just not giving into it.
yeah, and uh, Johnny from Johnny's Corner has got the same issue. Another issue. I've got a torn rotator cuff. Johnny from Johnny's Corner has got a torn rotator cuff as well. Uh, and we just I've learned to adapt
Yep.
my throwing the magnet. I've had to learn how to. The only time I've ever thrown standing up is when I'm leaning on a bridge. That's the only time that I've ever thrown them. I don't know what it feels like to stand up and throw a magnet from a bank or from a towpath. I have no idea
Well,
what that's like.
it's good for the first few hours, but then it depends on the size of your magnet. Then you start aching a bit.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, I know that you're using the integrity. That's the big one, right?
Yeah, 1700 kg. It's about 3.3 kilos, I think.
What is that? 4,000 pounds?
Mm, I don't know. I don't know what it is. 1700 kg. I mean, and it weighs about 3 kilos. So it's got some weight to it, but I wanted something heavy. I needed something heavy. The 80 is absolutely brilliant. I mean, in the mornings, you're 25 metres out with that. By the end of the day, you're down to about 15, but your body's starting to tell you, pack it in, you're getting old, but you just carry on. But the big magnets, we need to sink now because this hobby is so big in the UK that places are getting cleared out and you have to work for it now. Where when first time I went, every single pull you was pulling stuff out. It was unbelievable. But now you got to work a bit harder for it.
Yes, that's Shannon made that same exact comment the other day. We're having to work. We're having to work a little harder for any kind of good finds.
Yeah.
Uh, and we both use a big magnet. I use the 3,800 pound Titan, and Shannon uses the 2,400 pound Artemis. I don't know what that is. I don't know what that is in kg, but uh, they're big magnets. The Titan especially is a big magnet, and you got to dig down. You got to dig up that silt
Yeah.
to find the stuff. Uh, Actually found that out really good yesterday. Shannon got her Artemis stuck on something. We thought it was a rock. I ended up having to walk out into the water uh, all the way to the other side where she had casted, and it was not a rock. So I ended up putting my Titan on it, got her unstuck, put my Titan on it, and pulled it out from right there. It turned out it was a big bridge girder, uh, and it was buried so deep that it took me about 15 minutes to pull it out
Yeah.
from right there on top of it. So
Well, that's what you got to do. You've got to work an area. I mean, I've still got a spot that I did, and I moved 1 meter in 5 hours. And I was still getting stuff on virtually every pull. But my God, did I have to work it? There was that much silt in there. It was hard work, but that's
yeah,
what you got to do. You can't just do a couple of throws and say, "Oh, there's nothing there." You got to keep working it. You've got to dig. That's what you're effectively doing. Every time your magnet goes in, it digs, and that's the beauty of a 360. So you didn't have that with a clamp magnet. A clamp magnet would slide. It never dug in. Where you get a 360, it's got that flat edge, and it literally puts scrapes in there. Because I've had a place where we fished it for a while and stopped for a few minutes and looked at the water, and you can see all the grooves what you're cutting in the bottom.
Yeah,
You know,
Shannon loves watching that. Shannon's weird. She she tries to make patterns out of all the digs we've done into the water, and I mean you go 2 weeks and go back to where we was at one point, you could still see the dig marks where we dug. Uh, it's just funny. Barry says, I know a spot I'd like to go back to. It's a brilliant place. Well, come over and get me, Barry.
Andy, good evening.
Andy Bannister. Autism Magnet Fishing Mary, hello.
Hi, Mary. That's the thing, you see, with anything. Now, like I say, because it's getting more and more done, you need to get that bit further. You really do need to throw. And I think that's why the 80 has become so popular over here, because it is such a snappy little magnet. And you can get the distance. Off a bridge, you can do the 30 metres. You got 30 metres, right? You can do the 30 metres. You just throw it straight and it'll eventually come down. And I've found that some areas I've done better with that than I have the bigger magnet. And I think some areas that are really rocky, the bigger magnets don't go between the rocks like the little one does. You see, and I think that really does make a difference. And that reminds me, I've got to tighten my eye bolt up. It's loose. It's been spinning for weeks. I really should do it. It's not going to come undone, but I keep meaning to do it. And every week I say, I must do that. Yeah, I haven't. So yeah, it's Loctited, but I put the washer in, which I normally don't put it in, but I thought I'm going to try it, and now I wish I didn't put the washer in. So, but you live and learn. I've never done it before. Just this one time, I thought I'd try it, and it was the worst thing I did.
Well, that's just the way it is, man. You got to live and learn and try different things to make things happen.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've seen it or not, but Shannon and I both are using what we call Franken ropes.
No.
We have got I have got two different ropes hooked to my magnet that are taped together, carabiner together, knotted up. I call them Franken ropes because I got an orange and black rope attached to my magnet to get the length that I want, and because some of the places we go to here it's quite a ways across for us, and I just don't want to use a brand new rope on it because there are a lot of rocks and they're getting dinged up and everything. And I decided to use these old nasty ropes that look awful, but they do the job.
Yeah.
And
canals and ponds, they're fine for rope. Rivers kill ropes. That's another reason I go for the 30 meters on the 80, because when it starts wearing around the eyebolt, I just cut a bit off and join it again. And when it gets down to about 20 meters, then it's time for it to go. I've got a garage full of rope, which is all like frayed and tatty, but it is what it is. It's a hobby. Yeah, okay. People say once you bought stuff, you don't have to spend money. You're gonna have to spend some wear and tear. It's normal.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you love doing something, you're going to have to put money into it.
Yeah.
That's just the bottom line. I had watched a video of somebody. It's been back when we first started, and I thought about doing this, but I'm not going to do it. I never have done it. They were actually putting their ropes in a washing machine.
Really? Blimey, I'll get told off for putting my clothes in there, let alone the ropes.
And the people that did it. I'm not going to mention their names. You know them.
I wouldn't wash the rope. I don't even clean the magnet. I always see these posts by people saying, "What do you clean your magnet with? The water when you throw it back in."
The water when you throw it back in. That's what you're supposed to. I've got crap on my magnet from when we first started using these big magnets. I'm
You don't clean them, and then other people say, "I hose it down, then I dry it with a towel, and then cover it in WD-40." Worst thing ever. And then you go and throw that in the water and pollute it. Yeah, that's clever, isn't it? That's a really sensible idea.
I just don't get it. I mean, if you want to preserve your rope a little bit, I understand stretching it out and letting it dry out in the sun, maybe. But
Mine's
I'm not
tied up. Mine's wrapped up, tied up, put in the box, which is airtight, and it's still wet and sweaty the next week.
exactly,
No,
and that's the way ours is. And guess what? They're in the back of the car. They
mine's
never
in the
leave
back
the
of the
back.
van.
They never. We have one car, and it never leaves the back of the car. If you want to ride with us, you're going to have to deal with the smell.
No,
It's I
I've
mean,
never
it's just
cleaned it. I've never wiped them down afterwards. I just wouldn't do it. I just don't see the point. And to be honest with you, any new magnet is not as good as a used one. Once you get that chrome and shine off it, they work so much better.
I think so
In my
too.
opinion, a magnet that's new, they're not as good. They're really not. They're very smooth. Get that blooming chrome off, that finish, and they work much better afterwards.
I think so too. I'm going to use this tight until it the brakes fall off of it. I don't care. That's I've had a lot of different magnets from a lot of different companies, and this is my favorite one. This is what I'm going to use. Uh, and
I've always used online magnets. It's only the first week and a half that I had a different one, but I just bought a cheap one because I could get it next day, and I just wanted to try it. After that, that's what I've used. I did test a Barbarian out for Magnetar. Brilliant magnet. Couldn't knock it at all. The only thing is, like I said to him, is that the protective case is too thin because I absolutely bad that magnet within a month. But they listened. The case was made thicker, and there we go. But then the Evo range, and when I spoke to Online Magnets, we discussed that. Once that came out, I've got no need to change. And I've always said with anyone that if you want me to use a magnet, you've got to put something good in my hands for me to do it. I'm not going to change from what I'm happy with.
exactly, and that's the way to be. I mean, uh, like I said, I used every magnet known in the United States that was around, uh, and I wasn't happy with any of them. To be honest with you, that's just my opinion. I don't care what kind of magnet anybody uses. I'm not going to down anybody's magnet, but I was not happy with what I had found in the U.S. until I ran across Benny from Kratos, and it was not just the magnet that sold me. It was him and his customer service and his personability. Uh,
Yeah.
and I know you've got that as well with the online magnets. Again, I'm not talking bad about anybody's magnet. Use whatever you want to. It does the same job.
Yeah.
Just you know, but with us, uh, Kratos is the bottom line, uh, and that's what we'll use. Uh,
I did try Brute. Brute actually sent me the Dotbuster to try out. And it's a big magnet. When it came, I was like, look at the size of that. As a fishing magnet, not very good. But put it on something thick, absolutely brilliant. As a lift magnet, it's a fantastic one. But throwing it out and trying to find things, didn't rate it at all. I'll be honest with you. But when you actually put it on something like a safe, it took a crowbar and a hammer to get it off there. It needs thick metal, and that's the thing with it. I think maybe that's what you should use it for, just lifting, because it was no good for fishing.
yeah, and that was the problem with. Now, see, y'all had the clamp magnets well before the United States did. Uh, that was a problem over here. People were coming up with these double-sided magnets and single-sided magnets, but they didn't work well for dragging back across the bank.
Right.
They worked okay from picking up from the bridges, picking straight up, or like you said, just lifting. Uh, then we got a hold of some clamps, man. That was a different world.
Yep. I remember when I was using 360s. I think we had about a year ahead of you lot over there, and
Yeah.
I used to speak to a few Americans that used to wind them up because they saw how powerful those things were, and it was a complete game changer, an absolute game changer. The first one time I tried the Barbarian, I didn't hold a lot of hope for it. I didn't think it was going to work. Used it for a day, I was getting stuff, but it's hard to say was I getting more stuff. But then I tried it again, and there's just something about it that stopped me putting it down because I thought I'd use it once and that'd be it. But there was just something about it that the 360 idea. the principle of it was like something really weird about this, and you can't put them down. And once you've tried them, you're like, I could never go back to a clamp now.
Yeah, I couldn't either. I mean, I really did like the big clamps, but after using the 360, it's a whole different world. I mean, I couldn't. I don't think I could go back to a clamp or even a even the single that everybody talks about, some single sided ones like the Dock Buster and all that. I don't see myself ever going away from a 360.
Maybe I should do nostalgia day. Get my old 200 clamp out, get the beast out, and just go and have a go and just see what they're like.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm going.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that.
I said I don't think I'm going to like it, but I might give it a go. I might actually go back for a day and just do nostalgia.
You ought to do that. You ought to give that a shot and video it and see just see the difference maybe.
Or I'll give it an hour. If I'm not happy, then I'm going back to the 360s.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'll always go with the 360. But that's something I might give it a shot to. There for a little while, my shoulder was hurting so bad. I did go back to a small clamp for a couple of weeks, and I was just not having any fun. I was just not pulling up anything worthwhile. It's all worthwhile because you're cleaning out the rivers and everything, but I just wasn't having the fun as I do with the 360. Now, I'll tell you what though, the first magnet that we had was an Amazon magnet.
So was mine.
And let me tell you what, that little Amazon magnet, it was a little like a 500 or 600 pound round single sided magnet. It pulled up a fire hydrant. I kid you not. I was on a bridge and it pulled up a fire hydrant.
We're not going to find them here because we don't have them.
You don't have those there?
Best they do is they have like little stopcocks in the road, and they'll lift the flap up and they connect their own pipe to it. So they don't really have them like you do. I mean, that's why there's always all that flood in America, because people keep running into them, don't they?
Oh yeah. Well, that happened here recently in this little town here. Somebody ran into one and flooded out the street down there. And that's actually.
You had that one as well. Is that one in your garden, or did they get there before you did?
Well, that was like the very first year of magnet fishing, but recently somebody actually hit a fire hydrant. Now, I watched a video of yours. It's been a while back. I will say the name of it, but we don't want to show it or anything because I don't want to get knocked off YouTube again. Same, we did that with Graham from Magnets Away. We got knocked off YouTube at time. We're not going to do that. But do you remember that North American Arms small revolver?
Yes.
That you found?
Yep.
Okay. And do you recall that picture I sent you of the palm?
Yep. Oh, right.
That was a North American Arms revolver.
I did think that when I looked at it, I thought that looked familiar.
Yeah, that's that is the exact same one that you pulled out
of Marlow Bridge. I know exactly where that was. That was Marlow Suspension Bridge.
Yeah. I bought that for Shannon. Oh God, I don't know. That was probably her first revolver that she's ever had.
They're tiny. They look a bit like kids' toys, don't they?
Oh yeah, but you know what? You fire those things and they put good sized holes in things.
Don't they do a short one and a long one as well?
Yes.
Yeah.
They
spent some time on Google looking at it.
The one you pulled up, I think, was a 22 Magnum, if I'm not mistaken. either a 22 Magnum or 22 long rifle, one of the two. Uh, I saw you pull that up, and I was like, my goodness, I can't believe that they've actually found one of these over there.
Couldn't find the rest of it. We had a blooming good try, but that would have travelled for miles in the river. You
Yeah,
know.
yeah, yeah. They're real. They're tiny, and they don't weigh much at all. Uh, but I thought that was very cool. That's another reason why we sent you that picture. I wanted to make sure you uh, saw that revolver.
I don't know. Some people call it cruelty, but we'll leave that. We'll leave it there.
Yeah. Uh, let's see.
So
Finders Keepers said, George, in your last video, you found what you said were blacksmith tongs. Looks more like a loading lever of a Winchester rifle to me. Are you talking about the video that was on that came out this morning?
Andy, he's down the pub. Andy answers your question about ice cubes. So now somebody else can be picking his ice cubes up today.
Is Jensen on here?
Don't know. Let's have a look at the comments.
Yeah, that Jensen McKenna's on here. Hi, Jensen. How you doing, buddy?
How you doing?
Little buddy. He's a cutie pie.
He's an active little kid, and my God, he eats.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is. Uh, Speaking of food, Terry, bread pudding.
Oh, you've not
Me?
sampled it yet, have you?
No.
It's that
Uh,
moist. You should be able to post it to you before it goes dry.
that would be good. Well, I don't know because once it hits the United States, our postal service is terrible. It would probably take another 3 months to get back here.
It'll probably still
Hello,
be moist.
it would still be moist. Hello, Connie Barnes.
I can't eat. Actually, I did get you a present today while I was out. We actually got you a present, George. So when I put the package together for you, that's going in. I think you'll see the funny side of that one.
Okay. Uh, I've also got your package together. We'll be sending it out on I think the 3rd of
Yep.
August. I've got you a little something in there too.
It's like swap
You,
shop.
the swap shop.
Yeah. I've got something for you. You got something for me.
Oh, you can
But I'm putting a
swap.
bit of
Yeah.
a parcel together. So, yeah, you can have a few unusual things in there.
That sounds great, brother. You don't have to do that, and I really appreciate it.
No, well, I've got them other things to send, and I've got Sonic House, and I've got Sonic House. So, I'm gonna have to send it soon because otherwise, I'll go to the post office and say 490 quid. I'm gonna go. I'll just take a couple of items out.
uh, Actually, I'm going to send you something. If you don't, I don't know if you care to do it or not, but I want you to send it to Stuart if you don't mind.
Right.
Uh,
Okay.
uh, I'm going to put it in the box along with yours.
Okay.
Uh, if you don't mind doing it, I don't know
No,
how
that's
far
fine.
away.
I don't need to post it to him. All I've got to say is bread pudding. He'll travel.
uh, let's
See,
see
look, it's
here.
all talk about the bread pudding.
Yeah, Terry actually sent the recipe to Shannon, I believe.
Oh, and the gingerbread, the ginger cake. Actually, it's
Ginger cake.
cooled
I
down
never.
after yesterday. Yesterday was horrible here. It was warm. It was very humid. But I'm sitting out here now, and yeah, we've had a bit of rain already today, and it's cooled down nicely. It's probably only about 22 now, which is massive difference to yesterday.
Yeah, Terry was saying that it was just like scorching hot yesterday. She was out. I think she said she was out working in the garden or something, and she said
It was
she
down the
fried.
allotments. Yeah, she's got her own blooming fruit garden down, not fruit garden, vegetable garden. She's very self-sufficient. It's Terry, so she's always got something growing. Let's put it that way.
That's the way to be. Unfortunately, our only garden, we have a tomato garden, but it's not producing very well right now. I think we've had maybe three tomatoes so far this year. Uh,
You're not going to have a big salad with that, then, are you?
no, no. And I am a tomato for. I love vegetables, period. But
Yeah.
uh, I, tomatoes are my favorite.
There we go.
Most
Look at that. Most of the food you're having tomorrow is from down the allotment. So what she's feeding me tomorrow, she's produced most of it.
well, get a close up of it because I want to see it, see what it is.
Yeah,
And
she's even
we've
got
got
a mayonnaise tree, she was telling me. It's all
a
right,
what?
private joke that. A mayonnaise tree.
That would need to be private, I believe.
Well,
Uh,
she was said last night about raw chicken, but I said I really don't want raw chicken. You know, there's certain things I don't. I don't mind a bit of raw onion, but not raw chicken, Terry. Definitely not.
oh man,
Unless it's still got a pulse, and it'll probably be all right then, because it'll be proper fresh.
yeah, it'd be real fresh. Speaking of raw onion, I love raw onions. Love
So
them.
do I. I can. Yeah, I've eaten far too much onion in my time, but can't beat a cheese and onion roll. You see, but I like onion. Well, a lot of people, my wife, she can't stand it. She'll buy one of these made salads and pick all the onion out of it. What's the point? Just eat it. But no,
Yeah,
I am. But I like onions. I like lemon. I like all them things that everyone says, oh, they're disgusting. But I do. You got to have a bit of onion. You know, even if I have a meal, I'll actually buy a tub of fried onions to go with it. And that
yeah,
usually like four people, but I mix it in and eat a lot myself.
yeah. I'll put onion on anything. I don't care. But I'm also like you. I like lemons. I love lemons. I use lemons all the time. Uh,
Yeah.
lemon, regular lemon, and just lemon juice from a bottle. I'll use that as well.
What about, do you have there lemon meringue pie?
Oh man, I love lemon meringue pie.
There we go. I know you lot are into your key lime pie, but yet lemon meringue pie. Many
Yeah.
years ago, I'm going back a long time ago, just over decimal, not pre-decimal. My friend was dating this girl, and he weren't driving at the time, so he said, "Can you give us a lift?" So I took him round her house, and I got talking to the girl's grandma, and I don't know how we got onto the subject lemon meringue pie. Anyway, the next time I went round there to drop him off, she came out, she'd made me a whole lemon meringue pie for myself, and I sat in the car and ate the whole thing.
Oh, I don't blame you, man. That is one of the best pies you'll ever have.
There we go. Right, let's have a look. See if anyone, let's have a look. They're nice, aren't they? Oh, hang on. Having red onion with ours. Not the lemon meringue pie. Yeah, there we go. A lot of people. I love Terry's
Man.
onions. I had them for 4 days straight. I hope you had something with them, Jess. I mean, I don't mind a bit of raw onion, but you got to mix it with something.
Let's see. Ollie says not out tomorrow. Has got something on, but out the weekend after at a new location. Keep your eye out for a video. Well, hopefully I'll be having my surgery by then.
Will that prevent you going out?
Hell no.
Just thought I'd ask.
No. I honestly don't know. It probably will keep me from going out for a day or so.
Yeah,
Uh, because honestly, I've never had what this basically is cataract surgery. Uh,
right.
uh, the cataract on my left eye is it's almost covering the whole left eye. Uh, all I see out of my left eye is a big glare. I can make out shapes and colors, but if I was to close my right eye now, Nigel, I couldn't tell that was you.
But I bet you can still count dollars.
Yeah, I got the Ray Charles mentioned the dollar.
But well, let's hope it goes better and gives you better, better type of life. Because I mean, obviously, as things fade. I mean, my eyesight now. I'm getting old. I've got to admit it. You know, I don't. You never want to, but things now close up, I struggle with. I'm supposed to wear glasses, but I struggle wearing them. So, like, I've got my iPad next to me here, and I can read it absolutely fine. I bring it to here, and I can't see a flipping thing. So it's got to that stage, and with a lot of my job, a lot of it is close-up work, which is really frustrating. Because then you try the glasses on, but then I sort of have to tip my head underneath, and you have to lay down under things, and it's just so inconvenient. They've said to me, you could have one contact lens, that would probably help, and I'm like, one? Apparently it would, because it'd give me the best of both then. But
Yeah.
I just
Never
find it a bit weird. And the trouble is, because when you're under somebody's vehicle and all the dirt falls off in your face, and that last thing you want is grit in your eye with a contact lens in.
Oh God, yeah. Can you imagine that? Well, I can't imagine sticking anything in my eye. They're gonna have to knock me completely out to do this surgery, because if I see something coming towards my eye, I'm gonna start swinging.
You make sure you leave your sidearm at home.
Hang on a second. The door is locked for some reason, and Shannon is trying to get in. I promise I did not do that, honey. I promise I didn't do that. I don't know what
He
happened.
locked you out.
I locked her out of the house. She's trying to.
Shannon, check under the bed. Make sure there's no one in there.
It's just Stuart. It's just Stuart or Barry or Roger.
Blimey. Your bed must be 4 foot higher. Oh, them not under it.
Well, I know how you like those tall gingers, though.
Oh, dear.
That's funny. Speaking of tall gingers, have you talked to Paul Goody lately?
I missed a message from him the other day. He rang me at a time when I was in the middle of a job, and there's no way I could stop doing it. He just wanted a bit of advice on his van, but he's all sorted. He was meant to be coming last week to meet us, but van troubles, so unfortunately he didn't get there. But I'm sure we'll catch up with him soon.
Yeah.
I mean, you can hardly miss him when he's around you, but I'm sure we'll catch up with him soon.
Yeah, it's funny. He and I are probably the two tallest magnet fishers around.
Yeah, and his son, who they call Small Paul. There's nothing small about him.
No, and it turns out I'm about 2 inches taller than he is. And I want to go to Scotland so bad, because I've got family history there, ancestry there, and I can't fly. I'm too tall and too big to fly, and I'm too scared.
On the boat, it would just take a bit longer by the boat.
I thought about that actually, and still thinking about that. But I just don't know. We're going to do it. It's on our bucket list to get over there. I don't know how we're going to do it or when we're going to do it, but we're going to do it. Did I show you this, Nigel? I found this the other day. I don't know if you can read that or not.
1877. Yeah, I've got a bigger screen here. Why don't I look on that one?
1877 to 1904.
Right.
It's a grave marker.
Oh, charming.
I called where we were fishing at is next to the cemetery where my parents are buried there.
Yeah.
And evidently somebody had thrown a grave marker in the water or something. And I called the cemetery and I said, I found this and I cleaned it up. Can I bring it back to you? They said, well, there's no way to trace out where it belongs. So no, don't bring it back to us. I was like, wow.
Well, at the end of the day, you found it. It's not like you took it, if you know what I mean, because then that's, a bit different, isn't it? I mean, you can't help the fact that there's mindless idiots that think that sort of things are funny to do. At the end of the day, all you've done is saved it from disappearing forever.
Yeah, and the grave marker I know is not from the 1800s. I know that it's made of aluminum, and I just found it. I just found it in mudlarking, actually. Well, I call it mudlarking, but it's me walking to the place where I'm going to magnet fish, and I found that in the water, but it was black. It was completely black when I pulled it out. So it's been there for a couple of years, evidently. But I cleaned it up. It's nice and shiny now. So we're
Yep.
going to put it out. We're going to put it out in our metal and pottery garden.
Metal and
Uh,
pot. Mind you, you're into your walking through the water and bottles and things. Where me, I just can't get my head around it. When I see glass bottles, I just think recycling.
yeah. And
You,
a lot of people don't like it, and I understand it. I honestly thought I would never like doing it.
yeah.
I seen people doing it, but until we found our first bottle from the 1800s, and boy, I was it just turned me on just like that, man. Uh, and Shannon absolutely adores it. Uh, but now when I go magnet fishing, I'm spotting bottles at the same time. So we got a 2-for-1 special. You know what I mean?
So, just reading some of the comments. Yeah. I mean, yeah, my mum, she used to have a few bottles. She used to have them in the garden at the side of the garage and things like that. She had a lot less as I was growing up, as the odd football was going across and knocking them off. But yeah, I mean, some people are really into it, and if people are really into it, then fine. In this life, you've got to do what makes you happy, and if you get enjoyment out of doing something, then do it. Just because someone else doesn't like it, if you do, that's all that matters, isn't it? You don't have
Yeah.
to worry about what everyone else thinks.
There's a lot of people out there that don't understand and don't like the fact that we magnet fish. Why
Yeah,
you're over here to start, you're disturbing the fish. You're tearing up uh, fish or crawdads or whatever.
yeah.
No, we're actually trying to save them because people like you have polluted the waters with all this steel and metal and the thousands of brake pads that we've pulled out.
It is going to mix it up a bit. I'm not disputing that. But from the long, that's a short term thing. Mixing up the bottom for a little bit to get the rubbish out is short term. Things deteriorate in the water, rotting away. That's a long term damage. So if you get
Yeah,
them out, the short term is better than the long term, isn't it? That's the way it
absolutely.
is.
Absolutely. And Shannon made a comment a few weeks back where were fishing in the spot that we hadn't fished for probably over a year. I know it was over a year, and we went back to it, and she was like, "Wow, we actually made a difference here in this spot,
Yeah,
and we can see that now, uh, and we can actually see it in the wildlife that is starting to actually come back on this little
yeah.
river. Uh, we got geese and ducks everywhere now, and we got the river otters, but we've also got deer coming through there now, and we've had a bear that came through there. Yeah, I found
Right. Okay.
we found bear tracks on this river. I called the fish and wildlife people, and they confirmed it. I sent them a photo. They said absolutely, that's a bear.
Watch your
And
back.
well, there's not been any bear where we live in kind of a city. I mean, it's not a big city, granted, but the water is right next to Main Street,
Right.
and a bear is walking through this water. So, and they said, yeah, they've been coming back now for the last 4 or 5 years through there.
Well, that's good. That's good.
Yeah. So I mean, it makes you feel good that that you're making a difference. Uh,
Uh,
the treasures are also a bonus too. I mean, that's a bonus. The things you
yeah.
find. Uh, but that's not the original reason why we started doing this.
I can't actually say why I started it. I think it was more just the intrigue of what's coming. There was no, I didn't have in my mind, right, I need to find this, I need to find that. It was literally just, oh, I wonder what's in there. Never expect it to last. And that's how I literally, like I said, I had a couple of goes on the way to the pub, got back from the pub, ordered them. They came the next day. And we just went to the first spot, which I knew was an old bridge. And I knew as a kid, I'd probably thrown a lot of stuff in there. I could admit it, it's
Yeah.
one of those things. And then before we know it, there's a BMX and a sawn-off shotgun on the floor. Like, this is interesting. And then it just progressed from that. It just wouldn't stop. The guns just never stopped. It was unbelievable. And then the explosives started. I'm thinking, everyone else is finding, shopping trolleys and push bikes. Why am I getting all this lot? And unfortunately, that, as they called it, the Northants curse has never stopped. Unfortunately, it does continue. I don't think there's a month gone by where we've not found one or the other. And it's not good. It's not good. It really is. I don't want it all the time.
Yeah, absolutely. I understand that. Uh, you know, I guess that you were the first one I saw pull a gun out, I believe.
October the 18th, 2018 was the first one that came out. By January the next year, I'd had 21.
Wow.
And that was just doing my local area. And for a country with no guns, that's a lot of guns.
Yeah, I was going to say that it just blows my mind how that. Now, how long has it been illegal to own firearms in England?
You could have licensed handguns up, I believe, into the late 80s until there was a massacre at a school. And that's when they rewrote all the things that you couldn't actually have handguns. I mean, you had to be licensed to have them. You had a lot of ruling around them. A friend of mine, he used to have a massive collection of guns. He used to have 44 Magnum and that, and he was a big bloke, and he said that hurts his hand firing it. Everybody, you see him on the films, they're just going bang, 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 and that's it. It's not really not like that. And when they found they had to hand all their handguns in, basically the government done a set date that you must hand them all in, and they would buy them off you. They'd pay you for them, so you wouldn't just surrender them and get nothing. And they also took all the ammunition. Now, he used to make his own bullets. So him and his mate knew about this date for 2 months. They was mass producing hundreds of thousands of rounds of ammunition because they knew that they'd make a profit on them because they knew what the police were going to pay them for them. And they wheeled sack barrows and sack barrows full of boxes of 9mm bullets in it. And they made about 3p on each one, which they was really happy because we're talking probably hundreds of thousands of bullets. Because when they said, what are you trying to do, start a war? But they knew what they were doing because everybody that had all the casings that made their own bullets made as many as they could to get the money on them because they were no use to them otherwise.
Yeah.
So that was like the handguns out the window. And I think the actual gun rules changed in about 1967 where, I don't think up to then, I don't think you needed a license. So, a lot's changed.
It's amazing to me the differences in both our countries. I would not, and this is just my opinion. I don't, I'm not trying to force my opinion on anybody, but I am a weapons lover. I love firearms. I've been around them all my life. I shot my first handgun when I was 6 years old with my dad. And I've always been around it. I've always known how to handle them because if you mishandle a firearm, you're going to kill yourself or somebody else, And Dad always made that point very, very clear to us.
Yeah.
And it's just what I've been raised around. That's how we grew up. He always had them out laying around, and we never touched them. We knew what would happen if we touched them without his permission.
I thought, see, we've never had them. I mean, I used to do shooting. I used to do 2-2 shooting, air rifle shooting. I was the Boys Brigade champion, UK champion 3 years running of target shooting. And I've done clay pigeon shooting and things like that. But I mean, in Britain, you see, not a lot of people have guns. I think, apart from the police for the handguns, I think there's 2 other vets that are licensed to actually carry handguns. There is 2 vets in the UK that have got them as well. But now for us, if they said, we're going to legalise and let people have them, I think that would cause mass panic because they've not been around for so long. It would cause a mass panic. And now knife crime in the UK is ridiculous. It's not gun crime, it's knife crime over here. It's absolute madness. And it's because people are not brave enough to walk up to someone and give them a punch. Now they have to have a weapon. And I think a lot of people that use them, they panic. They use them because they think if he gets hold of it, I'm in trouble. They panic and they've just ruined the rest of their life for it. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I watch a lot of the news in the UK, from the UK, uh, and the knife crime is crazy over there. I mean,
Yeah.
absolutely crazy. I could not believe some of the stuff I've seen. And
Most of them are wimps. They're just, want to be gangsters. They think they're cool for carrying one. Someone starts them, they pull it, they stab someone, then realise that it's not so cool spending all them years in prison. It was stupid, but it does centre around crime a lot, unfortunately. But far too many people carry knives.
yeah, I can understand that. Uh, and there's so many rules on the knives that you're allowed to have. I mean, that's. I
That's because
mean,
they're trying to cut down on it, you see. But the biggest problem they got is until they can ban kitchen knives, they're never going to stop it. It doesn't matter what shape it is. If a knife goes in you, there's a chance it's going to kill you. So whether or not it's a little fruit knife, whether or not it's a big carving knife, just because one's got a zombie handle on it doesn't make it any more lethal than one without one. You see,
exactly.
and that's the thing, and that's the bit they can't understand. And they limit the age of people being able to buy a kitchen knife. Even when my daughter works, combs haven't. It's you're challenged on your age. Like I think they call it pigtail comb, the metal ones with a spike on them.
Yeah,
You've actually got to be 18 to purchase one of them as well. But it's an aluminium or aluminum comb with a vine spike on it. It's classed as an offensive weapon. So you've got to show proof of age before you can buy a comb now. That's how mad it's getting.
that is yes. I got nothing I can say to that because it's like over here, uh, and I'm going to use the city for an example. Chicago here. I know you've heard of Chicago before.
Yep.
Has got the worst gun crime in the nation,
Yeah.
but they have the most rules about guns than any other city in this nation. You
Right.
have, so many law. They have so many gun laws that a person of legal age that could carry legally
Yeah.
doesn't stand a chance because they can't even purchase one in Chicago.
Right.
You know, but yet there's more gun crime in Chicago, Illinois, than there is anywhere in the United States.
Is that a concealed state, Chicago?
No, I don't. I don't think it is a concealed state.
Because some places you have to hide them, some places you have to have them visible, don't you?
Yeah. Well, here in Kentucky, up until last year, if you were carrying concealed, you had to have a license.
Right.
Now you don't have to have a license. I mean, I had a license for many years, but since they changed that law, I carry concealed all the time. So does Shannon.
I know that when I was in Florida, when we got there and it was coming to the parks and you take the monorail in there, it remind people that if they've got the sidearms with them to leave it in the glove box of the car, because obviously you're not going to get through the security with them. But and I didn't. You don't even think about because you can't see people with them. But when they said you will be searched, so make sure you leave it in the car, and you see people actually getting off it and going back to the car, and you're thinking that's like saying, yeah, there's one in my glove box. It's just weird, to be honest with you. It's just a weird concept to think it.
Well, we don't. There's times that accidents happen with us over here as far as our weapons are being showed on camera.
Yeah.
Because it's either on my side or in my walker, and
Yeah.
the same with Shannon. It's either on her shoulder or on her side. And every once in a while, you might see a clip of us accidentally showing it. Now,
It's weird. You can show it in a video, but you can't show one in a live.
I know, and that's crazy.
Yeah. I sort of get where they're coming from because live, anything could happen. If it's a video, well, most normal people wouldn't be putting the video up, would they?
Yeah, that's right. That's right. I understand that now. Anything could possibly happen on a
Yeah.
live, and yeah, well, that makes sense now. See,
Mm.
Graham, if you're on here, anything could have happened.
But yeah, that's their way of looking at it. At the end of the day, a lot of advertisers don't like it over here. They wouldn't like it because obviously it looks really bad for them because it's like they can look at it as they're promoting it. You see, and a lot of videos they can because YouTube search system can look at a lot of videos of what you've done, and it can look at things and it can pick out things, and it can choose your advertisers on the things you're showing. So by finding guns, explosive things like that, that can limit your advertisers because of what you're finding.
Yeah,
It's a strange setup, to be honest with you. TikToks are worse for it. I mean, God blimey, I'm on my final warning with them. And that's probably why I haven't done anything for ages. I'd literally got the rusty framework of the gun. Most of it was missing, no barrel on it or anything. That was my final warning for showing prohibited items. It's a rusty piece of metal. Makes no
yeah.
sense. Really doesn't.
Well, see, I put up a TikTok, just a photo on TikTok, uh, and I don't understand why they never gave me a reason, but they took the video down. It was just a photo of a rusty pistol
Yeah.
that Shannon had found, and
Yeah.
they took it down. But if you look on my TikTok, you'll see 2 or 3 rifles that we had found that are still up.
Yep. And if you go on there, you can watch people shooting AK-47s and everything.
Yeah,
But you can't show a rusty one that will never fire again.
doesn't make any sense.
No,
Makes no sense.
nothing about that does. It's the way it's run. Half the things you watch, you think that's wrong. You shouldn't be showing that on there, but they get away with it. You know,
Roger said,
I can put
Roger,
bombs and explosives on there, no problems whatsoever. But I can't put
yeah,
guns on there.
I've seen that, and
Mm,
I've got a picture of the artillery shell that I got
yeah,
on there, and it's never been bothered with.
no.
Roger asked if we had the right to carry firearms in the UK, who would carry one?
Well, Roger wouldn't. He wouldn't be able to hold its weight. He's getting old. He's our Roger, you know. They pull his trousers down, especially when he's wearing them saucy underwear that Andy got him. You
Yeah,
don't want to know.
I'd like to see those saucy underwears again. I like. Oh, was that Roger under the bed, Shannon? Let's see. Graham, my TikTok is garbage.
Me, I live in Bradford. I get that. Yeah, I definitely get it. If you live in Bradford, I can understand you'd want to carry probably 2 actually, not carry 1. Yeah, it
Bradford,
does have a bit of a reputation. I'm sure there's some nice areas there somewhere, but
yeah, that's like over here. I don't know if you ever heard of Louisville, Kentucky, the
yeah,
home of the Kentucky Derby,
right.
uh, which is a big horse racing event over here, and
Yeah,
they try to make Louisville like the next big city, which it is nothing but a crime riddled area full of uh, full of drugs and murder in that city, and it's about 25 miles from us. And I'll talk about it because I've lived there before,
yeah.
and but there are good parts of that city as well. But for the most part, I won't even take a doctor's appointment in Louisville.
Well, there must be some nice areas there, but yeah, that is out of Bradford.
Gary said only a few are allowed to have guns in Norway. Only the police or those in the pistol clubs. Oh, and hunters, of course. And you must show you can handle it. Need a license.
I bet Gerd's got one. I bet Gerd can handle it. She's
I
a
bet
tough
you,
one, is Gerd.
I bet you can too. I bet you can too. but she's going to have to get some sleep before she carries it because she's always up.
She's worse than me. I mean, I'm like 5-6 hours, and because I'm always doing something. But it doesn't matter what time of the day it is, whatever show you go on. If someone is live or with a premiere, she is there.
She is
So
always there.
yeah,
She is one of the best supporters there is out there.
yeah.
So is Connie as well. Let's see. We have magnet fish in Bradford, and the amount of car parts, knives we have pulled out was shocking.
Some areas are pretty riddled with car parts, to be honest with you.
Oh my
Like
God.
I did this place in Manchester when I went up there and met Mr. Houlihan, and that was a weekday, and we kept pulling out brake pads and brake discs and some signage and spark plugs and doors and everything else. Right behind us there was a garage, and just in the canal there, it was full of it. And I said, should we just take it all back round there? But it was all old stuff. You can tell it weren't new. You know, it's proper old stuff, and you think for years that's how the walkways have got. You know, if you've got to get rid of your rubbish, I can chuck it in there, and I want to see it. And over the years, it's just built up and built up, and it's got to that stage. There's actually a set of railway carriage wheels in there, but no one's ever managed to get them up because of the weight of them.
Yeah, that man, I bet I could not imagine how heavy that would be.
It's the axle with the two wheels still on it.
That's
So
crazy.
they managed to get it just up out of the water to try and get out, so they know exactly what it is. Just could not get it up about another 3.5 foot, then over the lip of the concrete. So, you know, that's maybe one day when nothing else better to do and feeling like you want to ache and break a few bones. That's probably the perfect time to go, but it's not the sort of place you choose just for the sake of getting a couple of train wheels out.
I would love to try it. I know I would not stand a chance, but I would love to just hook onto it one time to see what it felt like. Just to say that I did.
Yeah.
We got an area, and I'm sure I've told you about it before. It's like a 100-foot square area right next to a garage where we pulled out over 1,000 brake pads.
That's not good.
We got like 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 videos of it, and we kept count. After the first 100, we started keeping count, and it turns out that we've pulled out over 1,000. And if there is over 1,000 brake pads in that area, you know there's got to be another 10,000 in there somewhere.
Yeah, we had that problem with track detonators. We got bored at 472, and we've been back there twice since. Another 60, another 70. There's so many in there, it's unbelievable. You know, but you sort of get bored of it after a while. You're like, oh no, here we go again. And was just putting them all aside, leave it to the end of the day, get rid of them then. And then I pulled a grenade out, and that was during lockdown. So we thought we'd better find the grenade in. We said to the police, grenade's over there, it's in a bucket of water. The bag next to it's full of track detonators. Yeah, okay, no problem. The bloke says, oh, I was hoping it's you. I was hoping to meet you. I was like, oh, God, it's never good when a copper says that to you. And
That's hilarious.
and yeah, we went back to the same spot the next week, and we pulled out about another 200 odd. But the bag that we'd left there the week before, the EOD and the police had just left it on the canal path.
Oh my
It was
God.
still there a week later.
Oh my God. That's crazy.
Couldn't write it. Went down there. Thought, hang on, there's a blue bag there. Opened it up, and yeah, it's just full of track detonators. It's been there a whole week.
I mean, if a kid got a hold of that or anything, you know, anybody, no telling what.
No, see, they're not as bad as people think. I'm not saying you know do it or anything, but when you actually get them, they do rust quite bad. Track detonators when they've been in the water, a lot of time you will pull them out and you can clearly see holes in them where it's all washed out. You know, because they're a very thin metal. They're not designed to be left in water. You know, when you pull out like a grenade and that, they're usually pretty crusty because they've been in there a long time. But the detonators usually there's a hole in them and they're washed out anyway. and then they are completely useless. But I know that the American ones look a lot bigger than the British ones, to be honest with you. The British ones, they just look like a wristwatch.
Yeah, we've pulled out quite a few of them now over here. And we did not know this was a track detonator when we pulled it out, or Shannon pulled it out. We just thought it was something that needed to be beat on with a hammer to see if it was something else. So here we go. We got this in the back of the car, bringing it home, put it up on our porch, sits there for a couple days to dry out, and Shannon's going out there with a hammer and out on our porch, beating on it.
And thought, oh God,
and
maybe
thought,
this is
what
that.
is this? And somebody messaged her and said, Shannon, that's a track detonator.
And that's
the
when you
vid-
sort of go, and stop.
Yeah, exactly. And where is that thing?
It's in the freezer.
I have no idea where it's at. It's at the dump. Okay, it's at the dump.
It went there because
It went to the dump. Okay, we didn't, because we didn't know what to do with it. But sitting here beating on it with a hammer, I mean, and it was not.
It was whole.
It was. There was no holes in it that we could see. So it had to
Not
be.
one of your proudest moments, Shannon. Not one of your proudest moments.
She hates me because I said something about it.
I don't
Well,
know, though. I think it is a proud moment because she's still there with her hands.
yeah, she still got her hands. Funny thing. My uncle, he was a wild man, but he blew off 3 fingers with a track detonator.
Would it kill me?
A lot. Probably blow your head. It depends on where it was.
It was right in front of. I mean, sitting.
If it was right in your face, it could have probably blinded you at least.
Mm.
Well, hell, you're blind anyway, though.
Shut up.
She's lucky she's got both hands because I think after this she's going to be using them, George.
Yeah. It's okay. I got wheels on my walker. I can move a little bit faster.
Oh dear. Well, let's have a look at some of these comments then. What have we got there? Same as grandkids. Apparently, grandkids take all Terry's money. Money grows on trees. Yeah, Paul, you do have that trouble with Terry now, don't you? We go to somewhere fishing on the weekend. Me and Paul fish, and Terry goes shopping.
I bet. Shannon wants to go shopping with her. I don't care as long as there's bread pudding involved.
This is coming from a man that's only heard speculation about it. He's never tried it either.
No,
now he's dying to try it.
Absolutely am.
She could probably fry ice and mill it over.
We
Shannon,
pulled out an engine subframe. Yeah, we've done the engines.
Shannon cast on a rolling pin. You can throw them. Mary, that's not nice. We have special needs kids in our life, Mary. That's why we.
Of course, I can't use my hand all the time. You can use it all the time when you're on that card and going beep. You've got no problems with your hand then. Oh dear. But no, it's at the end of the day, yeah, Terry, she's not meant to fish. She had to go when we was down in Reading. I think she regretted it the next day, but stubbornness, you see. And that's what this hobby does to you because you get so sort of addicted to it. You don't want to miss it. I mean, I can't imagine being there and watching. It's not a spectator sport in my eyes. You either do it or you don't do it. I just want to get on. I couldn't go and watch.
I don't want to watch the whole time, but I will watch you when I get tired.
Shannon. There's times when Shannon has to stop because of her disability, where she'll have to stop, and she says she doesn't mind watching me have a go for a while she rests. And I think that's everybody. Everybody has to stop every once in a while.
No, you don't. You have to tell yourself you're a machine. You don't stop. You start at 7:30, and you just keep going till 4 o'clock.
You just
I'm
keep on
terrible.
going.
I really am. I just don't stop. And if I'm having a bad day, I just try even harder. Doesn't matter whether I've got a shoulder pain in my back, certain. I will just keep throwing to the last minute. You know,
Yeah. Well, I mean,
I'm,
real magnet fishers, they're a rare breed, I think. And what I'm talking
mm,
about, real magnet fishers, somebody that goes out and fishes, a few hours. We do it 2 or 3 times a week. You do it all day.
yeah.
I consider that.
Yeah, but you have to do what you can do. At the end of the day, if you can do 3 or 4 hours at a time, you do actually probably fish more than I do. You see, but obviously I move around a lot. We're very
Yeah,
spoilt in the UK. I think our waterways are riddled with a lot more junk than yours are. You've got to work harder for it. You see, we don't have that trouble. Well, we didn't have. 5 years ago, it didn't matter where you went, you threw a magnet in, it was coming out with stuff on it. Now you've just got to work that little bit harder, And with me, sorry, I'll work stupid hours. My normal job, I can work from 8 in the morning till 10, 11 o'clock at night. I then have to squeeze 2 video edits in a week. When I'm doing the testing videos, I've got another one of them. That's done now. I've just got to try and get that up for next week, but I think it'll be the week after doing that, 2 lives a week, with the Friday live and everything,
I think
and
that's
still
all.
trying to keep a family life as well. And after the editing, I'm getting 18 hours of footage to go through. I've had 27 hours of footage to go through to get the videos out. So I am non-stop. So for me, I've been on here an hour and 21. That's probably the longest I've sat down in months. When I went on holiday, I went for 17 days. It took me over a week to learn to relax because I don't relax.
yeah. I can tell that about you. I see that.
Yeah. I don't
Just
sleep. I don't relax. I just get on with it. Today, I've been out all day. I literally got about 5 minutes before I came on here. Once I'm done on here, which is probably going to be in about 10 minutes, I've got a load of things to do. I've got to speak to the person about tomorrow. I've got to finish off Wednesday's video so I can get on with next Saturday's. And it's just non-stop. And that's me. Someone's like, oh, it's good film on the telly. I'm thinking, I ain't got 2 hours to sit there and do nothing.
exactly.
When things are on, I'm sitting there with my headphones on editing. Everyone else is watching. So watch a film. Yeah, okay, then fine. In with the headphones and off I get editing. And they go, oh, did you see that bit? I'm like, yeah, really good. But I haven't got a clue.
Yeah, I don't. Shannon and I both sit here saying, I don't know how you keep going the way you do. I mean,
The thought of it's making me tired.
I am very blessed to have Shannon who loves magnet fishing just as much as
Yeah,
I do. Uh, because Shannon does a lot of behind the scenes stuff. She does all the editing,
yeah.
what is this in front of? Somebody just did something and it popped up on my screen in front of our faces. I couldn't tell what was going on. Anyway, I'm blessed to have her in my life because she does so much stuff that takes the pressure off of me. And
Yeah.
Shannon don't like being on camera. I don't care. I don't mind being on camera.
You run on the Facebook.
And I do the Facebook and the TikTok, but
Yeah.
you
You
know,
just got to get on with it. That's the way I look at it. You can't sit back and relax. If I'm late editing a video, I need to get it uploaded. If it means staying up till 3, I'm staying up till 3. It's getting done. That's where maybe the odd word slips through that I shouldn't have let slip through. But it happens. You got if you got time on your hands to get on with things, you can't. And
yeah.
all my things that I do, everything is rushed. Everything is rushed. And if I
And
sat down and actually spent time doing it now, I think the whole concept would change. Because I don't have time, I have to keep it. And I think I've come to the stage that what I do is like that because that's all the time I've got for it. It really is, and I don't have much time. Before I went on holiday last year, I hadn't had a holiday in 7 years because I hadn't had time to have a holiday, which is really bad. I tried to cut my workload down to 4 days a week, but I'm too busy, and because I'm too busy, I can't. I will go between customers' houses. If I turn up at one early, the computer comes out and I edit while I'm waiting for a customer to turn up. Even if it's 10 minutes, it's 10 minutes. If I
yeah,
stop for a sandwich for 20 minutes, I will be sandwiching one hand, editing with the other. Every
well,
opportunity I get, that's what I do.
I know that the one time you and I were talking on video chat, and you were editing while we were talking,
I don't know.
and you were. I think you were in the van at
I
that
was,
point.
yeah. Yep.
And you were editing and maybe having a sandwich or something, and it was like 11 o'clock. It was like 11 o'clock your time, I
Yeah, that
believe.
sounds about right. Yep, sounds about normal.
You know, it just. But like I said, I'm blessed to have Shannon. If it wasn't for her, we've got videos uploaded all the way out until the second week of October. And
I've virtually got Wednesdays done.
well, I mean, it's just that
But we don't have long ones either.
I mean, we don't do 30-minute videos. I mean, we do 15 to 24 minutes. Most of them.
Yep.
And
But the thing is, you've got to do what suits you. You know, they say, well, I've looked at all these things. What's the ideal length of a video on YouTube and that? They're saying the ideal length is something like 11 minutes. That's a lot of things to squeeze into 11 minutes. But then you look at other ones where they're saying a video over an hour long, nobody watches them. I've seen videos over an hour long and people watch them. It's what suits your audience. You can't go by a generalization because, you know, if you're watching somebody baking a cake or you're watching someone, you know, steam cleaning the garden path, which people do watch videos on people steam cleaning, which that's another thing, but we won't get into that. You know, there's different time scales for different things. You can't squeeze it all into a very short video.
No, you're right. And how many hours does it take to get a 30-minute video?
Yeah.
I mean,
Like I say, I've managed sometimes where I've got 2 hours out of 27 hours worth of footage.
Yeah.
You know, but that's 3 different camera angles. So it's effectively out of 9 hours fishing, I've had 2 hours footage. But then I can have 10 hours footage, well, 20 hours footage and manage 30 minutes because it's not always a good day. And that's what people got to remember. There is no one out there that can honestly say every time they go out, they find something amazing because it's not true. It's impossible.
No, impossible. And I've seen
Global Magnet Fishing Day sucks.
Yeah, our Global Magnet Fishing Day, we did a 45-minute live for Global Magnet Fishing Day. We didn't find jack crap. We found absolutely not. We found one nail in 45 minutes. But do you know that 45-minute live was a blast? We had an absolute blast with each other, and it was just us. Few people walking by, cutting up with us.
And that's the way it goes. If you have a bad day, you have a bad day. Can't be helped. Move on. Do it again. You have a bad day. Then I've gone through. Well, I've had 3 or 4 bad weeks. You know what? Some of them videos, which have been my bad weeks, have been the best viewed ever.
Yeah.
And the things where you find something amazing, nobody bloody watches it, and you think, okay, fair enough.
You know, here, get this. We had one of our very first videos, like in the very first couple weeks that we started doing YouTube. We wasn't doing magnet fishing. We were doing abandoned houses, urbex,
abandoned
trains. We did an abandoned train video. The camera work was shaky as hell. It was all over the place. You know, we didn't know how to handle a camera. And then we only had one camera. There's one of those big handheld ones.
Yeah.
And we didn't know what we were doing. And that has gotten 20,000 views, and it was like a 35, 40-minute video, maybe.
Yeah.
But I mean, we didn't know what we were doing, what we were talking about. We just knew that we found an abandoned train, and we wanted to show it and put it on YouTube. Well, boom. Fast forward about a month, and it's got over 20,000 views, you know? And it's...
Yeah. That's it. So it's not always the good ones. And that's what I say. All you can do is keep putting the footage out. If people want to watch, they watch. If they don't want to watch, it's their problem. I don't care. I really don't. You know, there's lots of people, they come onto the videos. Yeah, they don't like me. But we all know that, unfortunately, when you do well in this world, people don't like you. And I've done quite well from the channel. I'm not boasting, saying it's massive or anything, but I've done all right at it. And that irritates people. And yeah, it brings on a bit of hate, but I don't actually care, to be honest with you, because I don't let it get to me. But I just leave them to it, let them get on. I'll carry on what I'm doing. If you want to carry on every week, coming back, giving me a thumbs down, giving you nasty comments, fine, just do it, because it's your life you're wasting, not mine.
Plus, you're getting a view out of it, so, go ahead.
Exactly. So, they're quite welcome to do it. And Unfortunately, that doesn't matter what we're doing. You know, if I took up needlework, there'd be somebody that want to stab me with a knitting needle. So it doesn't really matter. Whatever you do in this life, people are not going to like. We're all different. We will clash with people. You know, there's lots of fake people that make out they're your friends, but they're not. But let them get on with it, mate. Really, just let them get on with it. Do your own thing. As long as you and your close circle of people are happy, that's all that matters. It doesn't matter. And if people choose they don't want to watch anymore, fine. It's not going to stop me doing it. It's not going to stop me going out. I'll keep doing it. You know, if 10 people a week watched, I'd still do it because they're loyal 10 people. And that's the way I look at it. And that's why I'm not interested. I don't get drawn into petty arguments. People have been trying for years to get me to draw. But the minute they'll do, then it becomes my problem and I'm the bad person. And that's just not me. That really isn't. So,
Exactly. And
but
that's one of the reasons I love you, Nigel, because
He's the real deal.
you rise above the pettiness.
He's the real deal.
And, you know, we've talked about this before. You rise above it, and that's the way. That's just the way it is. You are, like Shannon says, you're the real deal, and
I'm very real.
she's over here.
yeah, but you got to be like that because otherwise, once you get drawn into it, they always find a way of switching it to make you the bad person. And at the end of the day, I've seen lots of people get victimised when it's got nothing to do with them and it's not their problem, but they do. And, you know, then they try and drag me into it. And I can't give an opinion because the minute I give an opinion, I'm going to be wrong. Someone's going to hate me for giving an opinion. So rise above it and stay out of it. And that's always been my motto. I've done it for years and still brings me hate, but I think they hate me more because I won't respond to them.
The same with us. I mean, it's going to always happen. Hell, we get brought into problems over in the UK that we had, you know, and
I remember that the UK were good at arguing, and the Americans said, I don't understand all them lot over there. And then it went to America, and everyone started arguing. I thought, see, it does happen. It's just a matter of time.
Yeah, we're not American. We're Brits, basically.
But the thing is, it doesn't solve anything. It never fixes anything. It never makes things better. All it does is winds people up. It causes divides, and then these people don't like them people. They don't like them. When 6 months later, they're all friends. It's all switched. I think, what a complete waste of time that was. So I'll just stay out of it and just let them have their little squabbles, and then we're all back to normal. But, well, I'm going to have to shoot now, I'm afraid.
That's fine, brother.
You know, because I've got things to do. It's 7 o'clock now, and all the roads closed down the road because of a bad accident. So I've got to go and try and meet my daughter because she's only ever drove that road. So I've got to meet her to follow me around the back roads, which she's never done before because she's only been driving for a couple of months.
Oh my God.
But the road's closed because of a bad accident, so I'm going to have to go and let her follow me.
Thank you for your time. Thank you so much for being on with us. And thank you for being a part of this last.
Not a problem, George. Anytime.
We will get back to doing this type of live eventually. I got to get my.
You've got to do what's right for you. And like you say, if you can get a better quality of life from having your eyesore and you knock this on the head for a while, that's all that matters because long term it's better for you.
Yeah, it truly is. And that's what we're. And I just want to get it. I want it to be like our global magnet fishing day. We just had such a fun time on that live.
Yeah.
That's what we want to get back to doing.
Exactly. So,
thank you, Nigel, so much from the bottom of our heart.
Not a problem.
You got a parcel coming on. We're going to get it out on the 3rd, brother.
You've got one coming as well. I'm just waiting for the armed escort to bring it, you know, because it's going to be that big that he's going to have its own plane. But anyway, thank you everyone for watching. Appreciate you all watching. This is just me. But George, thanks once again for having me on it.
No problem, brother. Thank you for being on. I got my Northants blue on for you today.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, and me. All right, mate. Take care, and I'll speak to you soon. All right.
Talk soon, brother.
Bye, everyone. Bye.